Hey, I did a dramatic pause at the top. Just keep everybody on their toes. You know what to do. Hit like, hit subscribe, turn on your notifications, and let's get after it. Hi, hello, and welcome to your favorite Average to Good podcast. Call it what you want. I'm Jimmy Conrad, alongside Charlie Davies and Tony Miola, and we have a fantastic show for you today. We are talking Americans abroad. We got some good news, and we got some bad news. And we got Cobi Jones coming on the show. We're excited to bring Cobi on, an absolute legend for both club and country, getting a statue outside of the stadium, LA Galaxy. Very, very cool. Talk to him. And then MLS weekend #1 is in the books. We'll get into all the details, who played well, who didn't. Lots on both sides of that. But, guys, it's Tuesday. I need a little recap. Big Tones, how was your weekend?
My weekend was good. I started in Connecticut. I was supposed to stay there, and then of course with the snowstorm coming,
I want to go home. It's way too
cold.
cold.
They kicked me out. I was actually going to stay. I'm like, it won't be so bad. I'll stay. I'll do the Sunday show like I was scheduled to. And our boss Mike said, no, you're getting on a flight tonight. So I came back here, and then I've been in bed with the flu, nursing it for like 48 hours. I'm just coming alive right now, and I'm getting ready to get, after the show, head down.
Perfect timing.
The Inter Buda Glimp game today. So
what a game!
Hey! I think Buda Glimp's they're gonna pull it off. I think they're gonna get a result. They might not win the game, but I think they're gonna pull it off because I think they're gonna take advantage of DeMarco getting forward and gonna hit him on the counter. Anyway, we'll get into that later. Chuck, how about you? How was your weekend? Coaching?
I got a great story. So I went to this Copa futsal tournament here in Hanover, Massachusetts, so the South Shore, and they brought in Barcelona, they brought in Palmeiras, they brought in Santos, and they brought in. I'm Tony. I know you're familiar with this, Manhattan Kickers. So they brought a great club, and so I got to witness some of the best 10 and 11-year-olds in world football. That's kind of the level that I was watching. So it was fantastic. I think the club here in Massachusetts called Flair, hence this T. They made some sick gear. But ultimately, Jimmy, I was so impressed with the kids' IQ, the Palmeiras kids, the flair that they had, step overs, rainbows, the passing and the movement. I was really happy to see kids thriving at that age. So it gave me a lot of juice and energy going into coaching the boys in futsal.
Yeah, step overs and rainbows. That was not part of my vernacular as a player.
At 10 years old?
10 years old. Holy, yeah. I was definitely not trying any of that stuff at any point in my career. Definitely at 10. All right, here I got two stories for you guys really quick. One, this weekend, I don't know if I've actually said this on the show, but I'm working with the Oakland Roots this season. I'm going to be part of their coaching staff. Shout out to Ryan Martin, the head coach, for giving me the opportunity. It's going to help me get my UEFA A license. I know Chuck's been working with his U10 team, but I'm going to work with the Roots. It's going to be absolutely awesome. And I'm already in it. We went to Monterey Bay and had a friendly, and it was 1-1 draw. It's just been a lot of fun to run parts of training, do some individual meetings with the guys, and I'm excited about that. Now, then on Sunday, okay, I got asked to play in this over 48 men's league game. Yes, I'm older, and I hadn't played with these guys forever. Really nice guys. It's the cup final for their league. It goes to penalties, and they're like, Jimmy, you got to shoot. Like, you got to, what? I mean, look at your experience. You got to shoot. I step up, and I miss, and we lose. You absolutely love to see it. Listen, I told them I'm not really part of the team.
How did you miss?
I fluffed it. Like, listen, this is like one of those fields where the turf of the penalty spot was like 6 inches higher than the rest of the fields. It's one of those fields. And listen, I'm not going to make any excuses.
Stones, keep going.
Missed or saved? Which one?
It's saved. It was saved.
Oh,
it was a bad penalty. I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to pretend anyway. It was. Here's the thing.
You missed that part. You just skipped that part.
It got saved, but I didn't hit it well.
Yeah, he did.
Fair play to the goalkeeper.
By the way, you're talking to a guy who's never lost in a penalty shootout.
You know what?
I love how he always said the penalty kicks are missed.
Yeah,
missed or saved. It was saved.
Saved.
It was
saved. Fine.
Yeah, it was saved.
Put it over there.
I just said.
I think it's worse if it's saved.
The guys listened to the podcast. The guys, they listened. Like, are you going to talk about it? And I said I hadn't decided yet. Right afterwards.
Wait, so where did you put the ball?
I went to my left, his right. And listen, he didn't even need to dive. He just kind of laid down and caught it. I mean, I didn't hit it well.
You telegraphed it.
I fluffed it. I absolutely fluffed it. And
can I ask you a question?
I'm not proud.
This?
No, I want to get onto the show. I want to get onto the show and not talk about this anymore.
Why is it an over 48 league? Is that like the guy who organized the league? Like next year he's
Probably.
48, so Yeah,
Probably.
and next year it's going to be like a over
Yeah.
49 league type thing.
Yeah, I've never heard of
Is
that
it
before as well.
Over
I don't know.
48. How do you get
I'm
to
with you on
48?
that.
I
There's
have a lot of
reason for that.
questions. I have a lot
I
of
feel like it
questions
was
here.
my guess is it was probably over 50, and they're like, hey, we need a couple of younger guys to fill this out. Younger guys being 48. I don't know. That's my guess, but that's the league I'm playing in,
Makes
and
sense.
it's fun. I love it. It's really competitive. I get kicked a lot. That's fun, but and we don't need to get into the emotional.
Is there
side
a
of it,
video,
but
by the way, of this?
there is no. Well, actually, I think one of my friends was there and did video it, but I'm not never bringing that onto the show. Let's just speaking of the show, we should just get on with it. This is an off-camera conversation. Americans abroad, notable performances. Let's get into it. Tyler Adams is back, everybody. That's part of the good news. He is back. He had 5 recoveries. He started for Bournemouth, and their 0-0 draw versus West Ham. 5 recoveries and 2 tackles. Played 66 minutes, and everybody was happy that he passed the test. And I'm very excited to see him start and look like himself. I saw him at one point tracking someone to get like some recovery runs. I'm like, that dude, he looks healthy. So I'm excited about that. Folarin Balogun scored his 3rd goal in 2 games in all competitions in a 3-2 win for Monaco versus Lens. Ricardo Pepi, another good news. He's back from injury, came off the bench and scored in PSV's 3-1 win versus Herenveen. Johnny Cardoso, I thought was very sharp in this game for Atletico Madrid. Match high 5 tackles in Atleti's 4-2 win versus Espanyol. They're going to need some of that vibes going into their Champions League game this week against Club Brugge. And then Noah Kai Banks recorded match high 6 recoveries and a come from behind 3-2 win for Augsburg versus Wolfsburg. I do want to talk about him a little bit, but first we're going to resident number 9, Charlie Davies. Ricardo Pepi is back and looking sharp. And Peter Bosch was like, that is a Ricardo Pepi gold. He's got himself in a good spot. Hit it a ton. And the guy is just incredible at hitting the back of the net.
Yeah, he actually had a goal just before that, a nice little tap, and you thought, okay, that's an easy one. It was ruled offside. But then he goes and takes this ball at the top of the box, creates his own space, and just absolutely lashes a curler bottom right to kind of give him that motivation of, hey guys, I'm back and nothing's changed. I'm still scoring goals. So not that anyone should have ever doubted that he would find his form or find his rhythm, so soon. Again, the move to Fulham didn't materialize. And I think that worked out actually in Ricardo Pepi's favor, because he wouldn't have walked into that Fulham team just like he's walking into this PSV team. It would have been much more challenging to get an opportunity and then to keep that opportunity versus going into a team that you're all well aware of everybody's attributes, and you don't have to have that, time, that adjustment period. So this is something, when I'm looking at Ricardo Pepi coming off the bench and being a difference maker, it almost fits perfectly with the narrative of potentially this summer being an option off the bench, a difference maker, a goal scorer, someone who's more north-south versus what Balogun offers.
I think a couple stats here to kind of blow everybody's mind. Pepi's goal means that the U.S. men's national team's top 4 strikers all scored goals in the same calendar week. I think that's pretty cool. Getting to Pepi specifically, 3 Champions League goals and an assist, all as a substitute this season. He's got 5 appearances, 1 start. Well, I guess he had 1 start. 149 minutes ultimately is where I want to go. He's got a goal. He's got a goal every 49.7 minutes in the Champions League. And then in the Eredivisie, he's got 9 goals in 731 minutes. Okay, and that's a goal every 81 minutes. I mean, the guy just hits the back of the net. So we haven't done this before, Tones, but given our 4 strikers all scoring and brimming with confidence right now, let's flip this. If you were a goalkeeper, and you were for a long time, but if you were right, like who of these strikers would you not want to face? Like, who do you think does a nice job? You're like, oh my God, we got to watch out for this guy because he's so multifaceted, or he sets up his teammates, or he just, when he gets himself in a good spot, it's gonna be good. We actually haven't asked you this before. Who would you not want to face out of these 4 strikers?
Well, I think in general, you don't want to face the guy that's hot, right? The guy that's confident, the guy that's in form, right? That's in general. If you've got a team that's got small center backs, the guys you don't want to face are Ajiman and maybe Haji, right? Like guys, they're good in the air. If you got a team that plays a high line, maybe you don't want to face Balogun, right? Because he's the guy that's going to run in behind you. Haji Wright will do that as well, right? He'll run in behind you as well. So I guess it depends on who your team is, how you're set up. But in general, Jimmy, the guy that's hot now, we've got 4 guys scoring on the same week. I don't know that we've ever had that. As a matter of fact, I don't know that we've ever had a period where all 4 of our potential potential forwards from Mauricio Pochettino were actually healthy at the same time, right? And on the field at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's probably been a long time since we've seen that. But it's good to see, along with, I'm not trying to not answer your question. I think there's just like some nuance to it, right? Just in thinking about it. But a goalkeeper's biggest nightmare is the forward with the ball at his feet, right? That's the guy, whoever it is the guy that has a chance. But Pepi scoring from outside, it's a little bit different dimension than we've seen from him. So yeah, look, it's just great to see him get back, and I'll dovetail it into having Tyler Adams back on the field. Forget how they played for 1 minute, right? Forget any stats or minutes that they played. I think we want, really, if you're a national team coach, and we're national team fans, right? So what do we want come whatever date it is that Mauricio Pochettino has to pick the team? We just want everybody available, right? And then Mauricio Pochettino goes and picks whoever it is that he picks, and we kind of drape our flag around our shoulders and we get ready for the World Cup, right? So to see everybody available, getting healthy again. I know we have one going the other way we're going to talk about right now in a little bit, but I think that's what we want as national team fans, and looking ahead to the World Cup.
Yeah, we just want options and all of them available, and then obviously the tough decisions will fall on Mauricio Pochettino and his staff. So Earl, let's talk about the bad news. We talked about the good news. Some good performances here, getting guys back from injury, which is Ricardo Pepi and Tyler Adams, as we mentioned. Antonee Robinson is now a fitness concern. Has not played in his last 3 games. Didn't even make the 18 for Fulham in their last one. And this is what his coach Marco Silva said on his absence versus Sunderland. He felt something. His ankle, ankle throughout the week. He wasn't feeling 100%. Doesn't look serious. He rested 1 session. He tried yesterday, but wasn't in conditions to travel. So, Chuck, this is a concern.
Yeah,
I know we played most of 2025 without him, but yeah. I also want to add one more piece of context. It's not just his ankle. There were reports, I'm going to put air quotes, reports that prior to the ankle injury, he had a contusion above in his thigh, right? He just got hit in the thigh or whatever, a dead leg. And that was right above where he had his knee injury. And so there was a little bit of concern that was slowing him down a little bit. And that's where the initial injury was. And then he got this ankle one. So there's a couple of combinations of things happening here. These don't seem serious, all things considered.
No.
But it still makes you think we're probably not going to have 1 or 2 players that we expect to have when the World Cup starts on June 11th. And that's not isolated to us. That's every country in this competition. Yeah.
For me, it's just important that Antonee Robinson's available come March. That for me is a difference maker, a game changer, because he hasn't really had the reps under Pochettino yet. Max Arfson, remember, has really received the time and the confidence from Pochettino, which has allowed him to grow in that position. But if there's ever one player that I don't need to worry about, it's Antonee Robinson. And so in terms of if he's injured short-term versus long-term, this is a guy that I know if he's fit and healthy, I don't have to worry about his commitment. I don't have to worry about his position or his understanding within the game. That's a guarantee. He's that much better than the next guy in line and offers a lot. So yes, it's a little bit disappointing to hear about Antonee Robinson's struggle right now with injuries this season, but this is minor. This is an ankle, maybe it's a little bit of a muscular issue. He's all in when he plays. You can see that. There's no holding back. So give him some time, let him recover, and then he'll be fine for us come March. Because for me, I think that's super important that Pochettino has a healthy Antonee Robinson and a healthy Weah and a healthy Dest to figure out how he's going to play against Belgium and Portugal. Remember, if we have all of these guys healthy, it's the first time that Pochettino is actually going to say, man, I have to figure out if I'm going to go with either A, Weah, or B, Dest. And if I
On
decide
the right side.
on the right side,
Yeah.
and if I decide it's one or the other, do I still find a way to input one of those guys in the starting 11? By the way, McKennie is not a guarantee that he's at that number 10 position alongside Christian Pulisic. Maybe it's Tillman and McKinney's back down next to Adams and has a little bit more of a free role, and Adams stays in front of the back three, back four. So it'll be interesting to see what that means, but we need to have Antonee Robinson on the pitch.
Yeah, we do. I think he just provides a different type of threat than trying to shoehorn Weah or Dest or McKennie out that left wing back spot, excuse me. But we have to talk about Max Arfson, Big Tones, because he got a lot of trust. He's clearly trusted by Mauricio Pochettino. He had a great performance in the last one that we can, evaluate him on against Uruguay. And he seems to thrive in the left wing back role as opposed to just being an out and out left back in a back four.
Yeah, if we go, I think we've come to the consensus, as you mentioned. If we go with a wing back, I think we trust Max Arfson, right? I think if we go in 4 in the back, that's a whole different role for him, and it's one that he doesn't seem 100% comfortable with, or at least hasn't shown at the national team level that he's 100% comfortable with. But as Czech mentions, yeah, I think he's going to be in the squad for sure. I think we've all kind of had him in our 26 picks, and I think he'll continue to be in there. Push comes to shove, though, on match day 1 of the World Cup, does he move somebody over there if Antonee Robinson is not available? I think that's the question moving forward, Jimmy.
Yeah, and so let's talk about that question, because if you're going to bring someone to the team, and he's proven that he can hold his own. He's done it against some good competition, Chuck. Without Jedi involved, it becomes, do I trust him in the biggest moments? Or am I going to, again, put somebody maybe not in their best position to try to figure that out? And we see around the world, let's use Manchester United as an example. Amorim comes in, tries to put guys in maybe spots that they're not most comfortable with. He goes away. Carrick comes in, puts guys in their best spots, and then they start to play a little bit better. There's a concern, despite the talent, if you're not playing in your best position, sometimes you're not going to maximize your potential. You can do the job, but maybe the job could be done better by someone who fits that spot a little bit better. I try to think of a better word I could.
But like, if you're taking in, let's just say the Uruguay game, right? They win 5-1. It's memorable. It's one of those performances that guys who got the opportunity showed they produced, they want to be there. But John Tolkien started in that game, not Max Arfson. So, you're thinking, hey, did John Tolkien do enough to impress Mauricio Pochettino and his staff in that game? Because anybody who played in that match started, I think that coaching staff is going, hey, Scally started that game. Miles Robinson started that game. Is this something that, the Paraguay and the Uruguay matches in particular, those two friendlies, the U.S. got the result, but there was some really good moments of play. And so you're saying, okay, with these guys who got opportunities, does that necessarily trump someone like an Antonee Robinson who's playing every match and in the Premier League and showing well, and what he gets from him? He's a leader, but maybe he comes in and he's not 100%. Do you play a player like that who you've trusted in these friendlies over someone who is maybe at 80%, but you kind of know what they are when they're 100%? Is that enough? That 20%. So that's what I'm getting at. Do you think Max Arfson is better in that position, given that Mauricio and his staff have trusted him, versus a player like Timothy Weah, who has played left wing back, has played left back for a full season at Lille, for instance, before he moved to Juve, but he's been used all over the pitch. He's been played at left wing back. He's played at right wing back. He's been playing higher up the pitch for the U.S. men's national team. Who would you feel more comfortable in a big time moment?
Yeah, I think that Tim Weah, especially with World Cup experience, would have that level of savvy, Big Tones, that I think could get back to being comfortable. I don't think the moment would overwhelm him, whereas I would probably think twice about that being a possibility for Max Arfson. Like, yes, he did well in 2025, Gold Cup opponents, friendlies, okay, but World Cup is going to be a different beast. So somebody having that experience already, being comfortable playing in big matches in that position, even if it's a little bit out of position, could be a good fit. And we've seen him have success. Like if he has Christian Pulisic in front of him in that kind of, hybrid 10 role / winger role, we know that can work because we've seen it before. So yeah, I probably after thinking this through and talking this out, so I'm glad we're doing it, Chuck and Tones, is that Tim Weah would probably be my number one choice if Jedi's not available.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's how I think Mauricio Pochettino will go. Especially think about its first game of the World Cup, right? There's everything around it, and your first game is going to be, at SoFi, at home. It's going to be tough, right? But you said something that struck a chord before, Jimmy. Is you bring a guy to the World Cup, like you better be willing to play him for whatever position you brought him to the World Cup in, right? Or don't bring him to the World Cup, right?
Right.
Like it's so, and I think Mauricio Pochettino has, if at a minimum, shown that he trusts guys. Like he'll give guys opportunities and he'll give them big opportunities. And we've had so many narratives with him and so many comments recently about team. It's not always the best player, but it's the best team type of mentality. He might think that Max Arson's the guy to get the job done. I personally, as I said before, think as a wingback, yes. As a fullback in a 4, no. That's how I look at Max Arston in his roles there.
Well said. By the way, Jim, I was already coming at you saying, "Oh, so now
it's fine.
Timothy Weah starting in the World Cup."
It's no problem. Huh? No problem. I know. I put my flag in the ground. I know I put my flag in the ground and said that after Tim Weah scored at the Bernabeu against Real Madrid in the Champions League, I said I don't think he's going to start. That was my take. Like that Dest would overcome him on the right side, and now it might be Freeman as a possibility as well. And there might not be any room for him in his best positions. I never took left wing back into consideration. And hey, listen, I'm open to being flexible and fluid in my opinions. And if that's what's best for the team, then I think that's what we got to do.
Oh, I'll eat my words. Coach speak on Tones.
Hey.
Crazy. What's best for the team?
What's best for the team, baby?
Think about the club, the history, the team, the red, white, and blue.
Yeah, all right. Here we go. Thomas says Jimmy has a lot of flags in the ground. Goddamn right I do, Thomas. And I'm okay with it. I'm going to stand right next to all these flags all the time. Okay,
hey, Thomas doesn't miss a thing. I'll tell you that right now. He does not. He knows.
That's Ivis's burner account. He just has the MySpace guy as his avatar. Okay, let's talk Weston McKennie. Apparently, there are some reports that he's going to extend his contract with Juventus. Obviously, for me, I feel like him and Luciano Spalletti, the manager, are just kindred spirits. They just look at each other like we were made for each other. And he's been playing obviously out of his mind, and you can tell he feels trusted. And any type of player feels trusted, it turns into confidence, and that they can make mistakes and still be okay. They're not going to have to sit for 3 games or sit out a month because they didn't do X, Y, and Z. He's got this freedom and that confidence is great. And I love for Weston. I'm going to come to you, Chuck, on this. This is the move that you'd like for him, or do you feel like he should be looking around and kind of, maybe swiping right on some other opportunities that are out there?
It's Juve. And it finally feels that the club, the supporters understand his importance. You can't fault him if he extends his contract at Juve. I mean, being in that situation, one of the greatest clubs in world football, and of course they're in a little bit of a transition period. But if they're going to commit to you, that means I'm assuming they're going to give you that contract extension. It's one that would be a fair reflection of your value as a starter, as someone who is going to be counted on. Otherwise, you would say, I'm going to wait and hold off because obviously this isn't a contract that reflects my true value or where I think I should be. So again, there's only so many places that you would probably hold off from Juve. There's probably a handful of clubs that you say, okay, this makes sense for me to take that next step in playing. But if he prolonged his stay there, I'd say job well done. I mean, talk about the juxtaposition of a few years ago to now when Juve, where it felt like we're always trying to offload him, push him out. And now it's like we need to hold him. We need to secure him.
Just remind me that this is true, right? They took away his locker and his parking spot. Like, they did these things. And for him to now have flipped that script a couple times.
Just a big mistake, Jimmy. Just a big misunderstanding.
Yeah, big misunderstanding. So Big Tone, do you feel like if Juve doesn't finish in the top 4 and doesn't get Champions League, that could alter the energy for Weston around potentially staying?
Well, yeah. So that's the tricky part, right? Because I'm just looking here. They're still 4 points behind Napoli, so they're not guaranteed anything. They're not going to get a 5th spot in Italy, right, with the coefficient. Spalletti is basically, there were rumors that if they don't qualify for Champions League, he's out the door, right? So you're kind of putting all eggs in one basket. But if you talk about a club that trusts you now, a club that wants you now, a place that fits you, it's hard. I mean, if you think about it, there were some rumors, I don't know, I'm going to say 2 or 3 weeks ago, there were some rumors that Inter was interested in Weston McKennie. Like, that for me would be, at the moment, that would be a step up, right? Especially the way things are going in Inter right now. Right. There's years ago where maybe that wasn't a step up, right? But this right now, it's a step up. But then if you think about it, like, where else do you go that you're going to get as much playing time and you're going to be, there were some rumors also, I think at one point at Atleti, right? May be there in La Liga. But there are the point is there are very few that are bigger and better with more opportunity for Weston McKennie. So, man, I mean, his story, when he writes a book, it's going to be fun. Just these Juventus chapters for like the last 5 years, man, just the roller coaster up and down, because it's been incredible to watch. But good on him, man. He's made it work every single time. When it looked like it was finished, done, dusted, he was gone, they didn't want him, and he's made it work again, to the point where, as Chuck said, they're begging him to come back, and they're going to pay him a boatload of money. Can we get him on the show? I feel like we speculate a lot around reports and Weston McKennie. We got to get him on the show. We got to hear from the man himself. So let's get Corey Gibbs, a former teammate of ours on the national team, his agent, to get that set up. Or Chuck, I know you know Weston. Let's just make that happen. Now, Juve 1 win in their last 7. They're 4 points behind Roma for the 4th spot, and they play Roma in a week. And they got, I know they're down to Galatasaray 5-2, so they got some work to do in leg 2 of the Champions League. After that, though, Juve take on Pisa, Udinese, Sassuolo, Genoa. They have to get good run. They have to get maximum points in those games, and Spalletti's got to look at that. 1 win in the last 7, not good enough if they want to try to get into the Champions League. So we'll keep an eye on that, and of course Weston McKennie's situation, and we'll see if he signs that contract extension. All right, we're going to take our first break and call what you want. When we come back, we have a U.S. men's national team legend joining us. Cobi Jones will be here on the show, so keep it right here.
This is why we do this every March.
Major slam!
It is a basketball party.
It's March! Expect the unexpected!
All right, welcome back into the show. If you're watching on YouTube, you caught Chuck in mid-stretch, which is absolutely awesome as he gets his, his flex on.
Do you guys have no idea how much shoveling and raking snow off roofs I've had to do? My back is feeling it.
All right, welcome back in. I'm Jimmy Conrad alongside Charlie Davies and Tony Miola. Guys, we have a very special guest joining us today. This player played for the U.S. men's national team a record 164 times. Pretty sure that's more than all 3 of us combined, which is pretty impressive. He scored 15 goals between 1994 and 2002. He was part of the 94, 98, and 2002 World Cup teams and was also on the 1992 Olympic team in Barcelona. During his club career, he won 2 MLS Cups, 2 Supporters Shields, 2 Open Cups, a CONCACAF Gold Cup with the U.S. He's U.S. Soccer's 1998 Male Player of the Year and a 2011 inductee into the National Soccer Hall of Fame. And he went to UCLA just like I did. He was a walk-on at that school just like I was. It's Cobi Jones. CJ, great to see you as always, my friend.
Good to see you guys. I really love listening to you while I was sitting in the other room hearing everything you were talking about. You know, you're all entertaining. I love it.
Okay, maybe we're not making you sound or feel smarter, but we're entertaining you, I think, which is the most important. All right. So CJ, you have a statue being unveiled outside of Dignity Health Sports Park alongside Landon Donovan and David Beckham. What is that like to get a statue? I mean, that's surreal.
That's another level. When
That's
you get the
another
statue,
level.
that we're talking like
we got to kiss the ring the next time we see
You know,
you. You know what I mean?
there's
Like, it's a big deal.
there's always a
I'm
conversation.
going to hold you to that. I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah, there's always like
Come on.
when someone says you're a legend, you're like, okay, yeah, I feel appreciated. I'm a legend. But when you get a statue, that's something that
Unreal.
etches you in history for life. Like anytime someone goes to the stadium, they're like, Cobi Jones, look at the statue. Like, what does that mean to you? Do you ever think you'd get a statue?
Well, first off, no, number one right off the bat. But look, I agree with what you guys said. It was surreal, right? It's still, even now, it really hasn't sunk in, to tell you the truth. It's one of those things where when you first hear about it and you've seen the other statues, you're like, wow, this is amazing, but then it kind of, just kind of like dissipates, where you're just like, and you think about it every once in a while and it kind of hits you, but it's surreal. It's hard to put into words. I agree with you. It's beyond a lifetime achievement, because when I'm dead and gone, that statue's going to be there. So I would say there's a lot of pressure that they get it right. I'll tell you that. I'm gonna
the dreads better be right.
This has to be right, okay? You can't have snakes coming out or anything like that. So, by the way, April 26th, that's the date. So I want you guys there. I'm inviting all of you to
live show from the statue of Cobi Jones.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be top.
Let me tell you, one of the things they don't tell you about, about this is when it comes to the time, like you're inviting people and telling everyone about it. In this day and age, they say, okay, you've got to get the emails of all the people that you want there and all the people that, it's impossible. I've met so many people and played with so many players and have so many friendships over the years. It's just impossible. So that's why I do it live and just say, hey, everyone come out April 26th, enjoy it. It's a party. It's a fun time.
Do you have any say in what it looks like? I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo probably wanted a say in his first statue, and who was the guy that the comedian James Corden? Did he do the David Beckham one? Like, if he shows up, right, you got to start thinking about, is there a second statue that's coming out here? Like, how much say do you have in this whole thing?
Yeah, it definitely better have a second one. I give props out to the Cristiano Ronaldos and people even say like the Dwayne Wades and all that stuff before. So everyone knows now, you better be involved at some point. And I have been.
That doesn't look like you.
Yeah. So I have been involved to a point where I know what the positioning is going to look like. I know kind of the picture that they're going to be going off of. And the interesting thing is you can pick a variety of different things that you want and kind of have an amalgamation to get what you want, within the statue. But they did take me out of the process at the end so that when it is unveiled, I will still be surprised. So I don't know what anything up here is going to look like, which is the most important part, and the hands,
So wait, what era did you choose? Like which Cobi Jones era did you go with? Like what year?
It's the earlier days. Let's put it that way. I can't have me when I'm just like I'm struggling to stay fit and struggling to do fitness. You don't want that.
We got Cobi Jones with crutches as a statue. It'd be pretty funny.
I'm thinking like LA Galaxy 2001. Like that was 2000, maybe 99, 2001, and that range. That was prime Cobi. I remember killing MLS defenders. But if you could also have alongside the statue one play or one moment in an LA Galaxy kit, what would it be?
Let's not make it the first goal in Galaxy history.
There you took it. There you go. Let's not make it that one.
Hey, Tony, you get a little love there then too, huh?
You didn't know right next to the statue is like a little video that's going to be playing nonstop, and then that's going to be on loop.
Tony catching a stray at Cobi's statue unveiling.
Man, no, but that was, sorry, Tony, but that's the moment that always stands out for me, because it was, first goal for me at the Galaxy, first goal, for the LA Galaxy itself, and just that day, and Tony was there, he'll tell you, and he probably heard it at the same time as I retell this story all the time. They were expecting 20,000 people there, and as Tony, like you remember, driving into that stadium, you knew it was going to be a lot more than 20,000.
They just kept coming, man. They just kept coming for hours, bro.
It
was the final number?
Was that the Rose Bowl?
It was 67,000 plus.
Yeah,
and one of the things, I don't know if you know this, Tony, and this tells you how unprepared they were. When the game was over, there were still people lined up on the freeway trying to get into the game.
I knew that.
That's how crowded it was. You know, it was insane.
Yeah, wow.
It was amazing.
And you
you
banged on Tones too?
You're just gonna keep going with that one, aren't you?
Yeah.
Have fun with it. Go ahead.
Hey, Tones, what were you thinking when you got the ball out of the net? Like, what were you like?
No.
Were you happy for Cobi? Or?
No. I was like, it had to be my teammate Cobi from the national team. Right? It couldn't have been anybody else that they had. It had to be Cobi. No. If you watch it, man, it's amazing how you even got to the ball. Like you didn't you poke? I remember I was like, the defender's got it. It's got it. And all of a sudden Cobi poked it and he's in 12 yards away. Like it's really, but it is that goal probably, Cobi, outside of your dribbling, 1v1 dribbling, that goal probably typifies Cobi Jones goals, if you will, right? I mean, you kind of defines some of your goals.
Yeah, it's always hard to talk about yourself, right? But it's one of those things where Hurtado played that ball through, and it was like that weird. And Charlie, you'll know this, when you're sprinting and you have the defender sliding, it's like you're reaching out, knowing that the defender's sliding, and you know, like you can get the ball, but the defender could possibly get your ankle too, and you could be, taking a bad injury in that. But it was just enough.
6 months out,
and was also and able to jump at the same time to get beyond the defender and touch it beyond, and then continue to go and then slide one home.
Yeah, I don't remember having any of those chances, so I'm glad you just brought up Charlie for that one, CJ. I was on the other side trying to slide to kick you guys. Let's talk now about your World Cup experience, specifically 1994 and playing a World Cup on home soil, and you were teammates with Big Tones for that. What was that like, and how do you think it's going to impact this current generation as we walk into another World Cup on home soil?
Yeah, It was an amazing time when you think about, and I look back, 30 odd years ago, to see just how important that time was for U.S. soccer in and of itself, and what we were doing as young men. We had no clue this is what people don't get. We did not know what was going to happen after that. I was playing, okay, I'll play in the World Cup. I'll go back to school and finish up school, after that, or get a job. Those are the types of things. So bringing that group of guys together and to accomplish what that group did was absolutely exceptional. If I wasn't a part of it, I would be looking back and just praising that group constantly. I love the fact that the World Cup, is coming back to the U.S., obviously Mexico and Canada as well, but it's almost like circular. It's finally coming to that moment where we can have that appreciation once again. And the opportunity for these guys are going to be amazing. And I know these guys are making a ton of money overseas. I know these guys are stars overseas, and like Pulisic and others, they've reached these stratospheric heights, right? But this is your home. If you have a successful World Cup here, I'm telling you, 30 years later, people will still be asking you to be on podcasts. That's what it's about.
Getting statues outside of a stadium, CJ. You get statues.
There it is. That's it. The opportunities are endless, where they will not only be super famous within the soccer world, but they're going to be just the average person on the street in the United States is going to be like, oh, that's such and such, that's such and such. They were successful in that 2026 World Cup.
Cobi, it's funny you say that, because we had Christian Pulisic on, I don't know, I'm going to say, 4 or 5 months ago. And I said to him, I asked him, do you know what the difference is? Do you have any idea what's going to happen in June? And he was like, literally said, no, I think it's going to be the same. It's a World Cup. And I had to cut him off and say, no. It's a World Cup at home. Like, it changes your life, right? It changes.
Yeah.
World Cups, not a lot of people get to play in World Cups, and it's an honor to have done it, but very few get to play at home. If you could give them a message, if you could speak to them, and I would imagine if they're in town, Pochettino would ask you to do this. I hope he would. What would you say to them?
number one, first and foremost, understand what you're playing for. That it is a big moment. You know, that you're representing your country, you're representing your city, you're representing your family, all of that. Then I would say also, which is extremely important, enjoy the moment. You know, it will go fast. It will go very fast. So take a moment to, even if it's like 5 seconds when you walk on the field, you know, soak it in. You know, this is something that you might not get there the next time, you know, so make sure that you enjoy the moment, and then understand that as a team, that's where the accomplishments come. You know, as a unit, you can accomplish far beyond, you know, what you could possibly be thinking.
Oh, Chuck is on mute.
Unmute yourself, Chuck, for crying
Chuck
out loud.
Is like, he can't even speak right now because we used to call Tony Mutola because Tony would mute all the time. Chuck has taken this award by, I mean, it's not even close anymore. Chuck,
no way. Are you kidding me? Tony still has me beat, but I'm catching up. Yeah, no, I'm curious. Did you know that was what was on your shoulders outside of representing your country, but, you know, being a young Black man, what, you know, you inspired me because I could say, hey, you know, you look like me, you have similar attributes like me, fast, quick, you know, fearless. Was that something that you thought about going into this as well? That, hey, I'm also trying to advance the sport in our country for other kids out there.
I'll be very frank with you. No, it was a different time. I was trying to keep my head above water and trying to survive. You know, that's what it was like back then. As time went on, as more people would come up to me and say things like that, and I appreciated it that I was. And not to, you know, I'll give kudos to my family, my parents and stuff. It shows that my parents raised me right, had me in the right position, had me acting in the right way, that people would look up to me, you know, in that way. And this is one of the things I tell people now. Please tell your idols or the people that you look up to, tell them at the moment, if you have the chance, that they are, you don't know. Like, I didn't know that. I think I cut out for a second, guys.
Yeah. No, but
we're
you
good
said,
now.
you said at the moment, like, you didn't know that at the moment. You wish that people would have told you that in person, and then we lost you. You want to pick up from there? Yeah,
I was just saying, because you don't know a lot of the time, especially, you know, when you're a young player. For all of us, I think, as a young player, you're so focused on the time.
Oh no, we lost Cobi again. So while we're waiting for him, there's one thing that I wanted to say, and we'll get him back on here, is that before the 2006 World Cup, we had Clive Charles, a famous coach for just in the system. Rest in peace to Clive. But he had sent us a video message before we left to go to Germany for that World Cup, saying exactly what Cobi did. Like, take a moment to soak it all in, because it is going to go by fast. And so I did that. I got in against Italy, and when the ball went out of bounds or somebody got hurt, I had you have a few minutes there, and I just took a moment to smell the grass, to look at the lights, to take a look around, to see who I was playing against. You see Andrea Pirlo, you see Del Piero. You're like, I can't believe this is real. This is like the most glorified men's league game of all time, because I had to figure out a way to not get overwhelmed by the moment. But I can still remember the lights. It's so vibrant, that memory for me. So I'm very thankful, and the smell of the grass at that time, and just what everything
I still get hit with smells of grass sometimes because, you know, there's a lot of turf pitches out here now.
Yeah.
But there's a special feeling you get when you get that certain smell, the scent of fresh grass. It brings you back to the training sessions, you know, traveling around Europe, you know, the bluegrass smell versus, you know, the Northeast grass smell. It just an incredible, those moments. And I too also took those moments to like suck it in. I remember just walking out in the tunnel and looking at guys, and I'll never forget that first time of walking out in the tunnel, and, you know, we're lining up against Spain, and I'm looking at each player like, is this a video game? What is this?
I know that. I know that. When we played against Madrid in Madrid, I know it was a friendly. We don't need to talk about the score, but it was like, oh, hi, Mr. Zidane. Oh, hi, R9 Ronaldo. Oh, hi, Raul. Oh, hi, David Beckham. Oh, hi, Iker Casillas. You just couldn't believe it. Like, okay, we're doing this. And at some point, you got to get out there and be like, I'm ready to compete. I'm going to show that I can hold my own against these guys. But those memories are very vivid for me. And I just wanted to shout out Clive Charles once again for taking a moment to make sure that we were intentional in keeping that memory alive. And man, it is as real of any memory that I have, Big Tones. And I'm sure you have a few of those yourself.
And I think that's why you're going through your life right now. And every time you talk about this little stint you have with the Oakland Roots, I mean, it's clear, I think, to all of us, and you talk to us more behind the scenes than you do on air about it, but like you light up, right? Like you light up because my wife says to me all the time about getting back into coaching. She's like, you're crazy. And I'm like, yeah, it's hard for me to explain to you what the grass feels like under my feet. It's hard, just hard. I wish I could tell you the feeling I have in my body when I was coaching 5.5 years with the youth national team. I would take off work the minute they called me. I was like, call the bosses. I'm not going to be in for 10 days because I'm going there, and that's what I think what you're getting at, right? Is what the grass feels like under your feet. It's hard to explain. And that's kind of what you go through. But yeah, we got Cobi back, and
hey,
I want to hear more about from Cobi. Because I got one question after I want to ask.
Yeah, but just to go back to where Cobi kind of cut out. Cobi, you were one of those players. You were super cool with the dreadlocks. Like that always, stuck out. That no matter what you looked like, kids loved Cobi. Cobi Jones was loved by all. But it also came with like the added pressure, which you said you weren't even aware of. If there were a lot of kids that were maybe unsure if soccer was the right sport for them because soccer wasn't big. It was all about NFL stars and NBA stars. And that's kind of where culture told you should fit or the sport you should follow. And all of a sudden here you came, light skin, golden skin, the dreadlocks, you're flying around the pitch. And it's like, hey, that's what I want to do. And we look the same. Like you had that added kind of impact. And so, maybe at the time you didn't know, but you inspired a whole generation of Black kids in this country because you made it feel like the sport was accepted. Because I can tell you right now, there's no way in hell when you were playing all around the country that you saw a lot of Black players. Because I remember growing up in New Hampshire, it was far and few in between. And then as I was going around, you saw Black players, but there weren't a whole bunch. It wasn't like a talked about, and that I don't know if that was part of, the culture, the country at that time, but I'm sure you saw it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I saw it. I felt it. I grew up in it. And getting back to like what you said, I look at it now and like during those times when I start appreciating it, I'm so thankful that I was able to do that and be that inspiration, for so many young Black kids, because I do understand that. I grew up where I was always, for the majority of my youth career, the only Black kid, on a team. I didn't see my first Black coach until I went to college. And I saw, think about that. When you're 5 years old until you're 18, my first Black coach that I saw was Clive Charles, and I was like, oh, and it's that little moment. You're like, oh, there's Black coaches, like that. It was those things kind of stick out. So, I totally understand. I understand it from like your generation and other generations. And even for myself, trying to be, for me, trying to be a little bit more. There was always that added pressure that I had to be a bit more special.
Bit better.
Yeah, a little bit better, so to speak, just to make sure that I had that chance and that opportunity. I do give a lot of credit, to, those coaches that I had earlier on that did not care about any of that and just said, just play, be good, be yourself, and go out there and represent yourself, your family, your people, your country, everything, to the highest level that you possibly can. And I love it when people come up to me and say, that I inspire them, because you don't know, You don't know. It's just like when people come up to you and just go, "Oh, you inspired me to do this. I love you being a goalkeeper, a defender, a striker." You're like, "Oh, that's pretty cool," because you don't think about it all the time of that you've affected so many different people over the years.
And that's why you're getting a statue, and a well-deserved one at that. Now you have 164 caps, Cobi, and Christian Pulisic is halfway there at 82. Are you a little worried? He's only 27. That maybe this guy can catch you. Like, how much is that? How much?
I thought Michael Bradley was gonna. There was a time where I was like, Michael Bradley's certainly gonna catch this record because the guy was never injured, played all the time. His dad was a national team coach. I'm like, there's no way he's not catching you. But Cobi's still at the top.
Still there. How much does that
I'm
record
still
mean
there
to you?
for now. It does mean a lot. It means a lot because it makes me realize that I had a long career, sustained career, and an injury-free, career. That's the big thing that catches up, with all of us at some point. As you get older, once you start hitting those, late 20s, early 30s, and you get those injuries, you're not bouncing back in like, oh yeah, 6 weeks. Sometimes that 6 weeks, all of a sudden it becomes like 3-4 months, So that's what I was very thankful for, over the years. And as far as Pulisic, I hope so. Records are made to be broken, as they say. And that would just tell me that he's having a long and successful career.
A prime Cobi Jones racing against a prime Charlie Davies.
Oh, here we go.
That'd be a great
Who wins the race? That's
I'd
what
bet
I want
against
to know.
both. That's I could.
Then you're the one to answer this.
Wow,
you might be the
it's
one.
Different. Listen. Cobi running at you from out wide to coming inside is Chuck trying to like drag you into the corner. That's tough. I've always looked up to Cobi.
These two guys are racing straightforward anywhere on the field.
Straightforward. I'm gonna go with CJ. Sorry, Chuck.
I appreciate it. I understand I'm the guest on the show, so you got to make me happy. So keep the old man happy. That's right.
All right.
But Jimmy, I got to say this because I was a teammate of Cobi's for 2 World Cups, and Cobi, I don't know out of my 100 caps how many you were involved with, but probably more than not. I'm guessing. And Cobi was one of the best teammates you could ever have, from so many standpoints. And I'm not saying this because you are the guest. I'm saying this because it's all true. The one thing I will remember about Cobi, it was Cobi and I that walked off the field together against Brazil, right? And the one thing I always respect about Cobi, we obviously lost to Brazil. Nobody's happy, but he was pissed after that game. I don't know if you remember, you threw your shoes in the stands, remember? You were like, I don't effing need these things anymore, And what it told me was that Cobi was like me with regards to, I don't care who we play, like we need to win the game, right? We're no longer the team like just shows up anymore, and like he wanted to win as bad as I wanted to win, and it always stuck out to me. As we were walking off the field, and so many things happened that day, the whole thing with Tab and like everything. And by the way, we should have been 2-0 up in the first 10 minutes of that game, right, against Brazil. Yeah. But man, you were such a great teammate, man. And I'm so happy. I know someone got a trophy there before you, but if anyone deserves a trophy, man, it's a statue. I'm sorry. It's Cobi Jones. And I'm happy for you, man. You deserve it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Absolute class act. It always has been. But now if we're looking at this current team, this group, how confident are you with this current group? Because, there were times where we all thought, even with Pochettino on the sideline, they're a little bit lost, not knowing maybe their strengths, maybe something has to change because it wasn't looking great. It feels like after these last few friendlies that Pochettino has a good handle on the team, that he's made some tactical adjustments to get the most out of this group. Do you think they have enough to make a strong run similar to what you guys did in 94, at least a run that can inspire a whole new generation? And what do you think it'll take?
Yeah, they definitely have enough, and they have the talent, to do it. The question is always going to be, for any team, is can they come together as a unit? Because let's look at 94, We had no right to do what we did, but we did by coming together as a unit, and getting the success. If this group can come together, and play as a team, they're going to be successful because the skill levels have become more, all the trainings and all this has become more. So you'd imagine that they would have at least the same success. Now with that comes more pressure, because the expectations are higher. Can they live up to those expectations? I think so. I would tell everybody that was all worried and concerned, and look, I was too, with the way the team played before. I had to look back and go, you know what? There's always criticisms. And I would say this to the players too, to understand there's always going to be criticisms. That's the nature of the business that we're in, of sports. That there's going to be people that will be talking about you. You're in entertainment. It's sports entertainment, so you will be criticized. You have to put all that aside, and you have to make sure that you're peaking at the right time. And this is where I think Pochettino has gotten it.
This is actually an important question for both you, Tony and Cob, because I don't think this is necessarily talked enough about in terms of when you say they need to be a team, right? We always hear about teams, units make it the furthest in World Cups, not necessarily the actual individual talent, but how much of that is built off the pitch? What needs to be done in order to make sure that is proper off the pitch, that you're willing to bleed for the next guy, that you're willing to go the extra mile for that next guy? What did you guys do off the pitch to make sure that it was so in sync on the pitch?
Well, we lived together for like a year and a half,
Yeah, and trained twice a day under Bora.
Twice a day for a year and a half. That is.
We all deserve statues for that, Cobi. By the
way, exactly. You have to understand that coming together as a team off the pitch, it is extremely important. It's 90+% of it, and it's that bonding, and you can bond through positive times. But I think teams bond more over the strife and overcoming things together. And that 94 team, it was the year and a half of double days. I mean, you guys, come on. Can you imagine double days? I mean, for a year and a half, anyone going through that now? I think there would be revolts, But imagine how tight you come as a group. And yes, it's bitching about the coach. It's complaining that you got this. It's complaining about the conditions. Now, for this group, it's going to be even more so of an issue because they don't have that. They have to go off to don't have to, but they go off to their teams. They don't see each other for a while. Yeah, they communicate Instagram and, DMs and all this type of stuff, but it's not the same as being face to face. So they've got to find a way, to come together. Maybe some of it is all the quote unquote abuse that they got from everyone, that they're not a good team and all of that. If they can come together and, bulk up, for that World Cup and over these next few opportunities as a team, this is it. It's getting over the tough times. It's having good times together, all off the pitch. That's how you become that unit.
Yeah, I think you said something really important about suffering together. I think the best teams in the world, internationally or club, are the ones that know how to suffer together. You go from surviving to thriving, and clearly that 94 team had that in spades. All right, Cobi Jones, statue coming. But we're going to ask you the hot, big question here as part of our tradition. Your best jersey swap. You've got, obviously, illustrious career, played in, 1,000 games. Who's your best jersey swap that you've had in your career?
This is a funny one. It's a buddy of mine. I would say Jorge Campos. I thought that was always one. Jorge. Having as far as just having the crazy colored, goalkeeper's outfit, from back in the day, that was pretty special.
That's a good one.
Cobi knows goalkeepers. That's what I'm talking about.
He sees them as field players, Big Tones. Yeah. I think that's the most important thing.
See, Chuck?
Well, you have to study them. Yeah. You have to study them to know how to beat them, right?
That's true. That's true. All right, Cobi Jones, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. And yes, congratulations once again on getting a statue. Well deserved. And we wish you the best of luck. Enjoy the World Cup, and hopefully we'll have you on very, very soon. CJ, appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, we're going to take a break. Or maybe, what are we calling we're almost at the end of the show. I'm kind of curious what we want to do here. Do we want to do another break? We're going to do another break because that's what we do here. So don't go anywhere. Keep it right here on the channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The clock never stops. Relive the greatest moments with uninterrupted highlights and more.
It's Gareth Bale. Ronaldo. Wonderful goal.
On the UEFA Champions League channel. Streaming free.
All right, welcome back into the show. Stretch run. When I say stretch run, Chuck takes that literally as he's stretching because he's doing a lot of hard work, everybody. We gotta sympathize with big Chuck over there. All right, so that was an awesome interview. Cobi's got such an illustrious career, got so many stories and lived so many experiences, very similar to our very own Tony Meola here, but I thought that was great. Tones, your thoughts on your former teammate coming on the show?
Yeah, man. So happy to have him on. Good for him. What I said, I meant, there's teammates that we've all had them, right? That kind of stick out over your career. And there's ones that you spend more time with than others. Cobi was a guy I spent a lot of time with. So in 92, when we first got to the national team, there was the Olympics that year. And I can remember going to an Irish pub and I forget the name in LA. We used to go watch games there all the time. And we were watching the Olympics. And there was Cobi and there was Joe Maxmore and there was Brad Friedel. I think there was Mike Lapper.
All the
guys
UCLA
that were playing. They're all UCLA.
All four of those UCLA guys.
Yeah, now that I think about it, they are. But there were guys that was that team. And I can remember watching and saying, these guys are going to be with the national team real soon. Immediately after the Olympics, they were full-time players basically with the national team. Cobi's one of those guys that stuck out, right? And he wanted it, man. He wanted it for so many reasons. And he trained every day like that. He played at, he played like it was his last minute every minute. So yeah, he earned it, no doubt about it. He was a threat. I don't know that we have. I'm trying to think, Tim Weah is probably the one guy like that we have on our current team right now. Different running profile, but the one guy who could just push the ball by you and go. Because Cobi wasn't intricate, right? You said you played against him. You know how it was, right? It was right foot to his left and then push it by you and just go. And let's go have a race, right? I feel like now we need to, Lamine Yamal's kind of ruined wingers, for me in the world, right? Because everyone's going to want to be like him. And it's there's really only one Lamine Yamal, right? Or Bukayo Saka, another type of guys. Cobi was like, no. I'll tell you before. It's like hockey players, we saw, right? Beginning of the game, they're like, okay, as soon as he drops the puck, we're going to fight. We just saw this, right, in the Olympics. Cobi was like, okay, when the ball comes to me and you are going to have a race for 90 minutes, and we're just going to get at each other.
I'll get to the end line before you. I'm just going to
let's see who wins. Let's see who wins in the end, right? So kind of a little bit, I don't know. Is it called an old school approach? I don't know.
It's kind of like Antonee Robinson in a way, in the way that he plays. It's just, I'm going to get to the end line, get my cross, and you're not going to stop me,
I wonder, Chuck, if nobody played with wingbacks back then. We were in Kansas City. I think we were one of the first teams that had success playing with three in the back because we had Chris Klein on one side, we had Chris Henderson on the other side, but no one played with wingbacks. I wonder if he played in a system like this, what it would look like with Cobi. I wonder
he'd be that right wing back. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
He'd be a handful, absolute handful. Yeah. He's one of those players where I looked up to him, so it's obviously very cool to have him on the show. And he went to UCLA, I went to UCLA, and I was always like, Cobi Jones is the guy, And so when I got to train against him initially when I was at UCLA and he was at the Galaxy, I knew what he was going to do, and I still couldn't stop it. Right? That's just one of those. He mastered the craft of creating enough space to get to do what he wanted to do, and that honestly, I don't know if it's a lost art, Chuck, but it feels like we don't see those types of players as much anymore.
We don't. I think how the old always comes back to kind of be new. They always go back in the past and reinvent themselves, and all of a sudden we're going to start to see more 4-4-2s coming. We see 4-4-2 from a defensive standpoint because it's so easy to understand everyone's roles in a 4-4-2 defensively. I mean, Arteta does it with Arsenal extremely well, but in terms of having two strikers, again, you have to have two strikers to make that formation work. If you have two dynamic strikers, then guess what? You're going to find a way to play that formation. If you had a Harry Kane and an Erling Haaland on your team, guess what? You're playing with two strikers. Whether it's a 3-5-2 or 4-4-2, you're going to play with two strikers. So I guess it's all about how players are being developed and what players that you have at your disposal to play certain formations. But man, I just think about, the players that the U.S. have. You have Weah and Dest. You got to figure out a way to get when you're talking about an open game. If a team's not sitting back and you're going to have that space, those are two absolutely killers in the counterattack, in two killers in transition. So again, it's all about the opponent and then just what kind of players you have.
I'm excited. There's so much to talk about. We thankfully have a lot of talent to choose from, and hopefully everybody is going to be healthy. All right, we promised MLS. We're talking MLS. Here are some notable MLS Matchday One results. We got Nashville SC taking down Chuck's New England Revolution 4-1.
Oh
Vancouver
my
Whitecaps.
God, it was a bloodbath.
It was bad. Yeah, Vancouver Whitecaps 1-0 over Real Salt Lake. FC Cincinnati 2-0 over Atlanta United. Tata Martino's debut or his return did not go well. New Red Bulls, excellent first half in particular. Michael Bradley wins his first ever MLS game over Orlando City 2-1. LAFC, that's the big marquee matchup. Took down Inter Miami 3-0. Really, really good performance from them on both sides of the ball. San Diego FC, just letting everybody know that Montreal is not very good, and they are very good. They won that one 5-0. LA Galaxy 1-1 with NYCFC. They had a red card in that one, but got a result. Seattle Sounders, nice professional performance, 2-0 over the Colorado Rapids, though Jordan Morris, unfortunately, gets hurt early in that one. Paul Rothrock comes in, and it was excellent as his replacement. So let's get into big takeaways, though. These are some notable MLS opening weekend results. Tones, coming to you first. What was your big takeaway from any of the score lines?
I was pretty impressed with the New York Red Bulls and what Michael Bradley did and doing it with such a young team. I think we said yesterday, right in our pre-production meeting, the first time a team has started 3 players under the age of 18.
Right.
It's amazing, man.
First time in league history.
And to win. It's one thing
in the way they did win.
The first half was amazing.
The first half, man, they just completely picked Orlando apart. Orlando better get Griezmann here really quick if that's really their move, because they're in trouble right now.
I don't know if he's going to solve anything defensively, so I don't know. They got some work to do.
Yeah, so good on Michael Bradley. Obviously, he coached a bunch of these players, and he was with the youth teams and all of that stuff. And but it still takes guts to do it, right?
Yeah.
And they all contributed massively in this game. This kid Mehmeti, I know Julian Hall. He scored 2 goals, and he's been kind of the name there. But in asking more people, I just asked my buddy yesterday, whose kid plays at Red Bull. He's like, yeah, Mehmeti, Tony, this guy can play, man. You play central midfield, looks forward, splitting passes with confidence.
So composed.
Yeah, he lost a couple balls, but who cares? Like in the end, the kid's 17, he's 16.
Yeah.
You got to figure out. I think he's going to be 17 here. He's getting old, right? In April. You got to let him make a couple of mistakes. He was a little late in a tackle, about 25 yards from goal, which gave up a free kick. But my gosh, man, give them the confidence. What's the saying? If you're good enough, you're old enough, right? I think that's what Michael Bradley has come to. Then we saw the speech from Michael Bradley giving his players confidence after the game and getting the game ball from Forsberg. So Red Bulls, Michael Bradley, the young kids, taking care of Orlando. By the way, in Orlando, right? Didn't even start at home. They were my standout for the week.
All right, we're speaking very quickly about Michael Bradley. We have his dad, Bob Bradley, joining us on Thursday's show. So that's going to be awesome to see Bob and to reconnect with him in a lot of different ways and see what's cooking with him. Chuck, your big takeaway from the opening weekend.
Yeah, by the way, you see a player like Mehmeti who's 16, but then look at what Calvin Sullivan is doing. He's going to Manchester City, Calvin Sullivan, and he's not getting a start with the Philadelphia Union. And what I thought this year he would be a starter. I thought for sure he's done enough. Even, seeing him with the youth national team, you felt, okay, he's ready for that next step with some of those young players, but he's not getting a start. So keep an eye on that as Mehmeti continues to get playing time and you expect a 16-year-old to go up and down throughout the season. It's a lot that you're taking in, a lot of information, but incredible job done by Michael Bradley so far. I'm going to go with LAFC Inter Miami. Did anyone foresee LAFC dominating Inter Miami in that way? Because they conceded possession, which you're saying, okay, you're at home, LAFC, are you ready to kind of move on from just being a counterattack team? But they didn't give Inter Miami possession in dangerous parts of the field. They allowed them to have it where they weren't really threatening. So for me, in watching how Eustachio fit into the midfield with Delgado,
he's gonna help out a lot. He's helping out a lot.
Man,
he can make passes from deep. That makes a big
absolutely.
difference.
So Tillman, Eustachio, and Delgado, that trio really gives them kind of that dynamic movement in midfield that they needed before. Eustachio is such a great presence, and then you allow David Martinez, again, the youngster. You could see what he offers that team, the energy. He's 20 years old. You can see that he's got a high ceiling, I think, in terms of potential. And Son and Bouanga still doing the thing. Bouanga just showing that, hey, he's always going to be in the MVP conversation. So they're going to be a real threat all season. So it was great to see. And for Inter Miami, lackluster, like
for sure.
DePaul,
I agree.
DePaul gives the ball away, counterattack goal.
Dane St. Clair got caught fishing, I thought, on the second goal, where maybe he didn't need to come out. So you have two guys that are you count on to make those plays, and then they don't make those plays. For me, easily correctable.
Can I bring something up there, Jimmy?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, on the goalkeeping part of it, just something to look at. Dane St. Clair is a great shot stopper, right? His team last couple of years have played really deep and allowed him to stop shots, right? Which sounds like a trite thing, goalkeeper stopping shots. But just think about it for 1 second. But now he's being asked to do something different, where they're going to play a higher line. There's going to space in behind, right? He had a little incident on that. Just something to look out for is how this changes from a goalkeeper standpoint, because everyone just thinks the goalkeeper, there's, you stand back there and you just save shots, but the game is changing for him right now, right? In the way that they're going to play. So it's just something to keep an eye on. First test was not good, right, for him. But he's now being asked to do something completely different. I wonder how he adjusts to it. From a goalkeeper standpoint, I know it's kind of technical, but something I'll be looking at because I didn't realize how they were going to play until I saw him this weekend. I'm like, man, he's in a completely different role right now than he was at Minnesota United.
Yeah. I also think it's just going to take some time, because Busquets and Jordi Alba, their understanding of the game, obviously their ability to pass out of pressure, like that's just going to take time to replace that type of quality. And so I'm not ultimately worried about Inter Miami, but weekend one didn't go so well. I'm just going to give a quick shout out to the San Jose Earthquakes, who I thought were very good against my other team. It's the Jimmy Conrad derby, everybody. I have two former clubs battling it out, and the Earthquakes looked good. They're trusting some younger players too. Nico Chikiris, Daniel Mooney in the back had 2 goals off of set pieces. So good on him, and a good start to the season. Now, I remember last year when Bruce Arena had just taken over, they beat Real Salt Lake 4-0, and they went on a nice run to start the season. It was more of that mid-season where they slumped a little bit and then couldn't really find that momentum when they needed it at the very end. So obviously an area of concern later on for Bruce and his staff, but really impressive performance once again. And I just want to give some love to Mikey Varas and San Diego FC. I thought they were excellent. There's a skill, I think, to, hey, we're the better team and we're going to show it. Because there are times there are teams that just play to the level of their competition. And I thought that San Diego FC is just continuing to push the standard. That's been really, really impressive. And then the other California team is the LA Galaxy. Garces got a red card, 2 yellows. He didn't look great. Gave up a penalty, but ultimately I think the Galaxy are getting closer to a very competitive version of themselves. And I think they're going to be difficult to break down. Just got to keep all 11 players on the field. So California teams ultimately had a good weekend, 3 wins and a draw in their 4 games. And I just want to give a shout out to the West Coast. All right, that's it. We're calling it a show. Thank you for hanging out with us as always. Reminder, Champions League is going again here on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Here it comes, Stones. Where are you watching it?
Well, I watch it on Paramount Plus mainly to watch you guys. I'm here to
yes.
watch you guys. That's all.
Chuck, I'll
I'm
be
not in
calling it
studio
on
right
Paramount Plus.
There you go.
There you go, Toads.
Bodo Glimt, please do the magic today against Inter Milan because we want to see the underdog punch above their weight once again. All right, that's it. I'm calling it a show. You guys
Oh,
know
by
I
the
love
way,
Bodo.
Bob Bradley on Thursday.
That's
My
right.
old gaffer.
He's coming.
Yeah, man.
Bob
Timmy's
Bradley.
old gaffer.
Old
Mine
gaffer.
too.
Hey,
Hey, he's
three
coached
of us.
all,
Yeah.
coached all of us, so it should be a lot of fun to have Bob on the show. All right, that's it. We'll see you in a couple days with Bob Bradley. Peace out. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you, Cobi Jones.